The only other guys that haven't really made a showing here are Muzzle and Zictomini.
Yeah, that is correct. So well, we saw, of course, Zictomini in the NASL qualifiers, and if that would be the same in the Gauntlet, I'm not sure if he would be carrying that Gauntlet for a very long time.
Well, to carry it, you have to first pick it up. And,
yes.
You know. Anyway, Bling versus Elvis is the game at hand, and we can see the players spawning. Bling spawning the top left-hand corner of Ohana, which means family, and Elvis down in the bottom right. So, Kev, tell us your funny Twitter story.
Yeah, once more, just for the people wondering, why on earth did you guys pick Elvis? Elvis is actually a very good Zerg player from Belgium, and certainly right now with Gamescom going on, we're trying to give a little bit more exposure to guys that are good players, but you might not hear about them all the time. I think a player from Belgium that most people will remember is, of course, O'Reilly from Lowland Lions.
Feast?
Of course, Feast is a Protoss player who really came up a little bit later and is still on top of pretty much the European scene, definitely among the 10 best Protoss players in Europe. But Elvis is also a very good Zerg player, and I look forward to watching him against Bling. Now, guys, for people wonder what happened with my mom on Twitter. My mom watched some of the broadcasts I did with Ben for some reason. She thought it was cool. And then she heard me mentioning, like, oh, yeah, follow me on Twitter. So she was like, yeah, cool, I'm going to support my son. So my mom made a Twitter account, and then she has 0 followers, follows 0 people, doesn't use the @ sign, just writes, hey, Kev, are you here? Kev? Hey, Kev, I watched your show, it was nice. And then suddenly, like after 2 weeks, my mom was like, hey, you never replied to me on Twitter. I was like, wow, I didn't even know you had Twitter, Mom. She's like, yeah, I do. I was like, well, what is it? And she links me, and I just see like 15 tweets.
Kev, double question mark?
Yeah, with a lot of question marks. 15 tweets in the void.
She's just tweeting to nobody. It would be the equivalent of her flying to Washington, D.C. and being like, standing in the airport, Kev?
Yeah.
Hey, Kev, you here? I know you're in America.
Yeah, pretty much. And then Twitter.
I know you're on Twitter.
Twitter is probably even better. She didn't use the @ sign, didn't follow me. She didn't let anyone follow her, so it was like 15 tweets, 0 followers, no @ signs. I was like, Mom, I think you're doing it wrong. But hey, since then, she got the hang of it. She tweets you sometimes.
She does. I follow your mom. I love your mom. She's so cool. And I love Bling's mom. I love all esport moms. They're the best.
Wow, Ben. I could take that in the wrong drive. I could take that wrong.
You had to go there.
Yeah. Ben loves all the esports moms. So making sure you stay away from my esports mom.
What the hell, dude?
Right. The gateway is almost up for Bling, and other than that, everything is standard. Bling is still active with his probe in the left bottom side of this map as well. No gases yet for Elvis, so we're going to see a standard Zerg opening for him too. His hatch is a little bit later than the one of Urk, but other than that,
yeah, a little sort of when you're scouting with that probe. If you see the 3rd hatch go down around 4:15 or later, you know that the Zerg player has made at least 2 queens. If you see the hatch go down before 4 minutes, you know he's only made 1 queen. So it's going to give you a little bit of an idea on what he has out on the map and when he can start spreading creep, injecting larvae, things like that.
Salmonelli's score is almost done for Bling. I'm curious to see if we're going to see more Stargate play out of him, or for the simple fact that this is not one of the guys that he's going to play at his national qualifiers, that we might see Bling falling back to the strategy he displayed to us in the last King of the Hill Gauntlet, where you of course had that interesting 3-base timing with Archons, with charge slots, a couple of Immortals, and interesting use of hallucination.
Yeah, I would love to see that build. It's a really cool build, and I'd kind of just like a chance to study it some more, to be completely honest.
We live with a Protoss player in our house who recently was in Team Check 6, talking about JMac. He is a big fan of the build. I have to admit, Ben, I haven't really tried it yet. I know that's silly. I should have tried it since I did play quite a few games over the last few days now. Bling is actually going to fall back to the Stargate once more, man.
I think the Bling build would be very, very good against what you lost against last night, Kev.
Yeah.
Zergling Corruptor, what the hell?
Man, that guy was good.
I was watching that game and I was like, how is this working?
Well, it was working because the run buys did a little bit too much damage.
Counterattacking. Bling again goes Stargate though. Of course, we do have Johnny Rico in the chat channel, and we know he's probably watching the stream as well. So he could be, being mindful of that, trying to keep his best builds in the sleeve.
Or he just played more with his build, and he's been losing with it, and he's falling back to Stargate play.
Another very real possibility. A lot of Korean Protoss players still favor this Stargate stuff.
Yeah.
So how will Bling follow up? He is getting +1. He hasn't added gateways yet, but he's got the money for it. So I think we're going to see 3 gates go down.
Yep.
No, Robo.
Robo is going down now as well. Curious to see if it's going to be a 3-base strategy or if he's going for the pretty much same thing as he displayed to us earlier today against Urk. Bling already won $450 by playing the NASL Gauntlet. That's pretty crazy.
And he is definitely Is he the most? Yeah, yes. He is the most winning player now. $450. That's right. The next highest was Hart with 375. And do we have one more 375 player? Nurchio.
Nurchio is one of those 3 more gates already up for Bling. Is he going to add those 4 additional gates as well? Then it would be the exact same thing as he did against Urk. While Void Rays are just picking up Overlords left and right. As Elvis is splitting up the Zerglings.
Now these aggressive 2-base all-ins, I mean, come on, they're very risky because if they're spotted, yep, there's the Warp Prism. If the Zerg player can figure out what's going on, Zerg is a great reactionary race, and if you know what's happening, it's very, very easy to respond to it adequately. There's those extra gateways going down, Kev.
Wow, the Arctosis pilot and the Vol Arctosis pilot. Well, okay, I guess these 2 pilots are powering it a little bit, but just look out there. It's going to be 7-gate Robo Warp Prism. With a Void Ray once more. The good thing is, of course, that Bling is picking up those. Oh, he didn't spot this Overlord. It's a little bit silly, Bling. But I guess that Overlord is too far away to spot it in time. He is, of course, going to try to clear out the Zondaga Watchtower as well with a couple of gateway units. This is going to be interesting, man. If you take a look at the unit, well, we already have 5 roaches, 7 links. If all the units are in the right position for Elvis, Elvis will be able to deal with this.
Yeah, he's got these 2 patrolling lings in his main base. It should give him some reaction time there. Void Rays are doing a great job of clearing a path for this Warp Prism. Elvis, he's starting to respond to it right now, and he will be up in the main base in time. He is going to be well prepared for this. Bling is not going to have any success with this particular engagement. And all of a sudden, our Protoss oh my goodness!
Bling, you're not going to be able to pull this one off. There's still too many Zerg units. Roach is attacking from the high ground as well. All the sentries did fall. Excellent defense here by the Belgium Zerg player Elvis. A little bit stubborn there by Bling. Bling should have realized it was not going to work. Still tried to make it happen. Didn't happen. And now we have a serious problem for our Gauntlet holder. As he has 1400 minerals, he's still stuck on 2 bases. He's just producing more Void Rays right now, but there's also a Hydralisk then on the field already. So I think we're going to see Hydra Roach, which is going to be super good against
Bling is in big trouble. In fact, Elvis can do just about whatever he wants from here. I would like to personally see one more big round of drones before he gets aggressive, but in fact he's going to go ahead and start with the Hydras now, which is probably not a wrong decision either.
No, he has 61 drones, which I actually think is quite okay. I would have totally agree with you if he had like 52, 53, but he already has 61 drones.
That's really impressive.
We all know how many Roach Hydra you're able to produce from 61.
Void Rays.
Yeah, the Void Rays are actually on dangerous territory because Hydras are very fast on creep, so we might actually see Bling ending up losing at least one Void Ray.
Oh, Bling, you got to pay attention, Bling. He's going to get out of there, but one Void Ray absolutely does fall. He only got 2 queens for his trouble.
Once more he's going to try to be active with the Warp Prism in the main base. He dropped his Zealot, but then realized that Elvis had units over here as well. Elvis is doing everything right.
Very impressive play from our Zerg player who has more than adequately responded to Bling's build. And where does Bling go from here? Still no attempt at taking a 3rd base. In fact, I think we're just going to see a big gateway all in. And this is going to be very tough. Very, very tough against Roach Hydra. This is this is the army composition that Roach Hydra is made to deal with.
Certainly on creep. There's not really anything that you rather face as Zerg player when you make Roach Hydra. This is the army that you want to face, and this is the army that Elvis is going to face. And he still has 1600 minerals as well. He's able to produce so many units. Not even the best forces in the world are going to save Bling. I think it's time that we are finally going to have a new champion.
It's starting to look that way, Kev. A couple more, or the Void Rays are going to come join up with the Gateway Force. Bling's got this big army outside the 3rd base of Elvis. He's got to be so careful. You don't want to get yourself choked there. He still has the Warp Prism in the bottom right. I think the most open spot right now is the back of the Natural. But Elvis is maxed. He is maxed out so fast. 13.5 minute max.
Wow.
Excellent macro.
Nice conclave over there as well. At least a nice engagement. I love it when you see units streaming in from all different positions.
Again, the Warp Prism going to try to find an opening in the main, but there's just too much there. Elvis splitting up his army beautifully. Really, really nice play.
Bling's gonna try to make it finally happen. Guardian Shield is ready, but the first Void Ray dies immediately. Bling still shows no intention of taking another additional base, so he is really going all out with this push, and it's just not going to work. Roach Hydra is so much stronger than the army that Bling currently has.
Well, he's just going to go for it, and this is an unwinnable fight, quite frankly.
Yes.
And there it is. Well played. Bling taps out. His gauntlet run comes to an end.
Yes.
After 6 wins, excellent run for Bling. Huge round of applause for him. $450 in the bag.
That's a lot of money.
That is a ton of money. It definitely qualifies him for the voting, and you guys would be foolish not to vote for Bling, who is. I mean, that was awesome. Really great run. Congratulations to him. Sad to see it finally come to an end. But
yeah, I like a little story. I think it could have gone on a little bit longer, but congratulations to Elvis. Shows that he was worth the pick after we had a couple of great Zerg players. Elvis was the one out of all players to defeat Bling. Unfortunately, Bling was not playing his strat. We saw him defeat those other Zerg players with. This was kind of the same thing as he did against Urk. Against Urk, it really worked. Yeah. Against Elvis, it did it. Perhaps Elvis was already watching. Anyways, very good response by the Belgium Zerg, and after that, he played it cool, made units on the right moment, had a good read. I think the Overlord dropping creep is perhaps one more thing that really triggered the second all-in for Bling. Yeah. That Bling is like, okay, I don't want to wait on this.
I would like to ask, just before we kick it to commercial, if Bling had just pulled back and made 2-3 Colossus, is that something that he could have done?
I think he could have done it.
Would it have made a difference?
You mean off 2 base or 3?
I don't think he could have gotten it with a 3rd base, but I think off of 2 base. Or even make the Colossus and then take a 3rd with the Colossus.
I think when there are so many Hydras on the field, it's always worth going for Colossus. I do think it would have made a difference. It would have been a lot harder for Elvis than it was right now. The biggest problem is that Elvis was still going to have a much better economy. And after he made his first Hydras, he would have probably done exactly what you say. One more big round of drones, 70 drones, take a forward base, get the Spire up. And I think with then he's going to have the economy to literally produce 10 to 12 Corruptors.
Yeah, and he did have the Spire is another important thing.
And then it's still going to be tough. Even then, if you have 3 Colossus are going to die quite quick against 12 to 14 Corruptors. Yeah. So it would have been hard.
Great run from Bling. Elvis is now the holder of the Gauntlet, and his next opponent is going to be Star Eagle. Stick around, guys. ZVT when we get back.